Skylight Music Theater Summer Intensive. Hi, everyone. My name is Amanda Marquardt. I'm the Education Manager for Skylight Music Theater. I am a Wisconsin native and came back to Milwaukee after spending 11 years in Los Angeles. When I first moved to LA, I just wanted to do theater, not film. Long story. Anyway, I auditioned for theater companies, but there was just so much oversaturation, and the culture in Los Angeles is one of connections and favors. A lot of the time you would audition, and some of the roles were never on the table to begin with. Eventually, I didn't need to audition for certain companies, but at first I didn't know many people and frankly got bored of not doing theater, so I made it myself. The first show I ever produced on my own was Antony and Cleopatra on the Santa Monica Pier. The cast was filled out by my coworkers from Starbucks, actors, everyone. I tracked down the woman in charge of the Pier Restoration Historical Society to gain permission and got it. We taped out a space and even had to kick an elderly couple out of the chairs that were our set. The yellow tape just wasn't enough of a deterrent. For one performance, we contended with a mariachi band for the entirety of Act 2. And as you can see, we did it with zero budget. At the last of 4 performances, I was laying there as dead Cleopatra with my face upstage towards the ocean, watching the sunset. At just that moment, 3 dolphins danced by, not super common in Santa Monica. The moment was nothing less than majestic. I was in love. I produced theater like a machine after that. Like a machine. I produced so much work in my own theater space in Hollywood and a ton more at Zombie Joe's Underground Theater in the North Hollywood Arts District, and cabarets and burlesque shows, a ton of private events, and I did so much of it with nearly zero budget. The many hats. Here's the tie-in. As a theater educator, you will have to do a lot with very little, even when affiliated with a professional company such as Skylight. The producing skills I honed while cutting my teeth as a producer and director in Los Angeles have been invaluable when it comes to being an arts educator. Skills and responsibilities that align with independent theater producing, running a school-affiliated program or running a program for an affiliated company, teaching, advertising, setting up and running auditions, hiring staff, managing staff, payroll, writing contracts, marketing management, photographer, videographer, video editor, graphic designer, writing press copy and releases, choreographer, director, producer, costume designer, costume launderer, prop master, set builder, devising special effects, data management, finance management, budgeting, project management, event management, knowledge of nonprofit business law, lighting designer, sound designer, set builder, box office responsibilities, certified in first aid CPR, both pediatric and adult, and strong interpersonal skills. That's definitely not all of it, but you get the idea. Learn to do everything you can. I was handed off a summer program that was created by my predecessor, and since our personal strengths were different, attempting to emulate it didn't make sense. It was a very well-devised program, but didn't have the focus I felt best suited our goals for the summer intensive, so I started it over from the ground up. I was the resident choreographer, teaching artist, and administrator for a notable high school theater program for 6 years. And in that time, I gained strong insight into what more serious theater students want out of an educational program and what they need. Both important, but different. If you land a gig at a high school with a great program, pour your heart into it. You won't regret it. Some of the work I'm most proud of I created in a high school theater program setting. No matter what you are planning, start earlier than you think you should. Write your plan and revise it as needed. It can be simple. It's more important that your plan serves your goals versus remaining exactly how it was when you set out. You learn things as you work that you didn't know at the outset. Below is my simplified proposed timeline. You can see lots of those producing skills in action. Pause the video for a moment and glance at this overview. Interns can be incredibly valuable if you select the right candidates. Don't take an intern on just because they're willing. Interns can be more work than help. I had 4 interns for the summer intensive, and they made major contributions. They were integral to the success of the program. Based on their dedication, I would hire any of them professionally. In fact, one of them was hired on professionally, meaning paid work, by Skylight following the program to support the artistic department for a set of auditions. I selected 2 applicants who had robust stage management experience. One of them also acted as my dance captain. The other 2 interns were students that had taken performance and teaching routes in their post-secondary education. The following are my words of wisdom regarding interns and leadership in general. Have them do some of the heavy lifting and have work ready for them to do. Give them work to do that gives them insight into more complex aspects of your workload. Don't give work to an intern that you haven't done or aren't willing to do yourself. Let them see you work and do the hard stuff. Lead by example. Think about why they are there and what they want to get out of the experience. Create opportunities built into your program that allows for interns to do the creative and teaching work. Treat them with the same level of respect that you would a colleague. Take the responsibility of mentoring them seriously. They're not runners or only there to do grunt work. They're there to learn. Remember, they learn from you, but you also learn from them. Program goals, teaching artists, selected material. There is a specific set of goals for the students that aligns with the teaching artists I brought in, as well as the repertoire I selected for the intensive. The teaching artists, theater professionals, I brought in were handpicked for their specializations in different areas and were clear on what the student goals were in advance of the workshops. Though I am a dilettante who likes to do everything herself, I have finally learned the value of thoughtfully selecting the best person for the job and then getting out of their way and letting them do it. I have a circle of colleagues that I know I can hand anything to, even if it has incomplete instructions. I know they will get what needs to be done and knock it out of the park. A program like the summer intensive we run is only as good as its teaching artists, so I went for the best. Professional artistic relationships are so important. Be good to everyone. Have integrity. Be harmonious. Goal: acting a song, polishing an audition, building an audition book, and expanding repertoire. Kate Sarner is an accomplished arts educator and theater artist. She has helped many students gain admission to their theater schools of choice. She is also a seasoned East Coast performer with invaluable experience working on both sides of the table in the Broadway and national tour setting. Goal: strengthen skills in singing and holding vocal parts in complex harmonies and counterpoint. Anne Van Dusen is a brilliant and seasoned accompanist and music director. Goal: dancing full out. Ryan Kappelman is a choreographer, music director, dancer, performer, teaching artist, and the most full-out dancer I've ever seen. He's in red, but look at the full-outness of the students and interns too. He's inspiring to be in the room with, and it showed in the students' experience and performance. Goal: vocal confidence and advanced technique. Natalie Ford is an exceptional vocal coach who runs a private voice studio and is also a very active performing member of the Milwaukee theater community. She is breakthrough-based, and I have seen firsthand the transformation of her students' voices over a stretch of years, and the progress is transformational. Goal: gain skills in improvising for the musical theater ensemble. Alan Kuskowski is a seasoned improvisational performer and educator from Comedy Sports, and as some of you might know, is an acting lecturer at UW-Milwaukee. Goal: gain a sturdy vocabulary of tap steps. Danny Joy Weber is a master hoofer and tap teacher. She can teach anyone to tap. Most of our students had never even had tap shoes on, and they rocked it. Goal: gain experience working in a conceptual music theater setting and have them step outside of their comfort zone. Jill Anna Ponisic is the artistic director of Milwaukee Opera Theater and a brilliant conceptual theater artist. This type of work can be intimidating or uncomfortable at first for actors who are used to a more rigid creative structure. Goal: learn jazz dance-based conditioning exercises. David Roman teaches for the Milwaukee Ballet and is a freelance choreographer, most recently for Skylight and the Rep. I fancy myself to be solid at teaching Fosse-style dance, but David bests me in this area. Goal: grounded communication and storytelling. This one warrants a little explaining but deserves the attention. It is evident that solos and duets are frequently overlooked when producing work with young performers, especially in high school theater programs. The big numbers absorb tons of time and attention. Then the kids with the great vocal chops who are given lead roles are left with lean staging for solos and duets, which can be really uncomfortable. And it shows. The method was as follows. We took the song 21 Guns, which I love because of Becca, true story, and paired all of the students off. I split the lyrics up and then put some voices on some lines, some on others. We had them utilize a viewpoints method of simple staging, and they had to communicate. Each line, whether they were singing or listening, had to be carved out and justified. No one should be waiting for their turn to sing. Big, shiny dance numbers feel dense, full, and satisfying to watch. Solos and duets should feel the same. They should have as much fill, but different. The soul and story has to be there. Something that we did, which wasn't necessarily a goal, but something we made an important practice, is having students learn lyrics, not necessarily parts, as they learned choreography. Sometimes getting students to be full voice and full out dancing is like putting a full-size sheet on a queen-sized bed. Tell them to dance full out, they lose the harmonies. Tell them to focus on and nail the harmonies, the choreo goes out the window. It worked incredibly well when it came to building the final performance. Scheduling and the showcase. Rehearsal time had to be built in to make sure that at the end of 2 weeks, we had a polished performance. Scheduling and the ability to project the amount of time needed to accomplish goals within workshops or rehearsals can be challenging. The next 2 slides are an overview of the programming. It's a solid formula, and I'm happy to share it as a springboard. I've tweaked it since then, and there is always more to be done. Pause the video for a moment if needed, and let it soak in as you connect the information about the teaching artists to the schedule. Showcase. Each student sang a 32-bar solo and performed in 8 ensemble numbers on the Cabot stage. The kids in both sessions were phenomenal. I hope this has given you some insight into another aspect of being a professional teaching artist. My first theater experience ever was at the tender age of 14 with the man who created the program I now oversee, Mr. Ray Jivoff. What a blessing to carry forward such a legacy.